Invincible War, Mark helps with the cleanup, but gets approached by the oldest Viltrumite, Conquest. Mark says it's not a good time, but Conquest reminds him of his duty as a Viltrumite. Mark explains that all the destruction he sees is all his fault because his variants wreaked havoc upon Earth, and now all he wants is something to hit as hard as possible. Glenn and Negan charge at each other, and their impact causes a shockwave. Conquest sends Mark through a building, admitting he doesn't care about Viltrum's cause. He just loves killing. Mark lands a punch, but Conquest only laughs. Their brutal fight tears the city apart before they clash in space, where Conquest grins through Mark's attacks, who shits himself in fear. Back on Earth, Mark breaks free, but Conquest stops holding back on him. Meanwhile, Oliver sees the fight on the news but struggles to catch up to them. Mark falls and begs Conquest to just stop and listen, but Conquest doesn't care and says he's having the time of his life. He tells Mark to show his Viltrumite traits and power, so Mark headbutts him and strikes him repeatedly until Conquest stops his attack, telling him if that's all the strength he has, this won't end well for him. A hospitalized Eve wakes up and sees the news, rushing to help Mark, thinking he's fighting Omni-Man again. Meanwhile, Conquest is giving Mark the biggest ass whooping and reveals to Mark that his father, Omni-Man, has been executed by the Viltrumites. Suddenly, Oliver saves Mark and urges him to get up, but Conquest approaches, declaring that he will eat both their hearts. He swats Mark away and snaps Oliver's arm, nearly tearing his body in half before Mark intervenes. Conquest keeps pummeling Mark until Eve arrives. Mark tries to protect her, but Conquest snaps his leg like a twig, and thunder claps Eve's cheeks before impaling her, giving her another hole. While Mark mourns her death, Conquest approaches and thanks Mark, explaining that he doesn't usually get to destroy this much. Mark tells him he won't live to see tomorrow and destroys his mechanical arm. He takes a bite out of Colonel Sanders, and Eve resurrects herself, blasting a powerful beam at Conquest, which burns him. Conquest vows to kill her again. However, Mark stops him and punches him until Conquest snaps his wrist, causing Mark to headbutt him until he's finally dead. After recovering from the fight, Mark talks to Cecil, who decides to show him Conquest's corpse, revealing he really is dead.